Senator Jaffer. Let me ask a question of both of you, since we're talking now about the convention, which was constructed and approved in 1951, post-Second World War environment. There was a protocol attached to it in 1967. But from your point of view, sitting today, 2023, when the world is falling apart in many regions of the world, creating a level of forced displacement that we have not seen before, is the convention still fit for purpose?
I firmly believe that the convention is fit for purpose, and moreover that we have all of the instruments needed at our disposal in order to deal with global displacement, as well as an array of other issues that are subsets of that. For me, what is absent in many cases are asylum systems that have the capacity to deal with these flows, international solidarity and support for refugee hosting countries. As I said at the outset, the vast majority of refugees never leave their region. They want to return home, and so they stay close by. We need to be supporting those countries that have been hosting refugees for decades. That's a form of international solidarity which contributes to the realization of the convention's goals. There are other ways in which you can strengthen asylum systems so that people can receive the protection they need. You can have forms of solidarity like resettlement to third countries. I believe that what is lacking in most instances is either capacity, resources, or frankly political will and accountability. But the convention itself is still quite fit for purpose, and that would be my view.
What a terrific answer. I agree with everything that my colleague has said. Can I add a couple of things? Because the Council has made recommendations on the very subject of helping host countries. So we think now about the country that is the neighbor, that is receiving the refugees. 75% of them are in the low-income category. So those least able to accommodate the refugees are those who have the most of them. But there are ways we can help. When we were in Jordan, we discovered that the huge number of refugees in that country, from Syria, from Palestine and beyond, were not allowed to work, and that was a real impediment. It isolated them socially, it deprived them economically. It was a real problem. But what happened is the European Union made a proposal which Jordan accepted. They said, look, we will give you a break on the tariffs of goods manufactured in Jordan coming to Europe if they're manufactured by refugees. If you allow them to work, then it'll be good economically for Jordan because it'll open new pathways for your exports. So Jordan, as a result, issued 100,000 work permits. The refugees got to work. The products that were made through their labor were exported on preferential tariffs to Europe. It was a win-win situation. That's an example of responsibility sharing. It's an example of common but differentiated responsibility. And it's an example of reaching out to help host countries that are doing the hard work of actually receiving the refugees. One other thing, Madam Chair, we also recommended that the international financial institutions should look at preferential treatment for host countries. When Uganda has 1.6 million South Sudanese in Uganda, Uganda's national debt, its arrangements with the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, should be adjusted to reduce the economic burden on Uganda to reflect the contribution it's making by accommodating those refugees in its territory. So there are ways in which we can assist host countries, recognize the reality that refugees are going to neighboring countries because they afterwards want to go home, as my colleague says. But I fully agree with what she said about the Refugee Convention. It is indeed fit for purpose, and we should continue to protect it.
Thank you to both of you. Terrific opening to our study. It's really good to understand the scope of the problems, but also to see some points of light. In the end, our report will not just be about describing the problems, but tabling some